Hey gang, Mark LeBlanc welcoming you back to the Alley Cat Workshop. I'm a member of the Woodturners Association of the province of Quebec. Here's the official baseball cap. And I'm wearing this not because I've got a bad hair day. Wink, wink. My local chapter, we meet once a month and we have a quick demo and discussion. And we started a little initiative which is similar to the Four Ways project that you might have seen on YouTube that involves, amongst other people, Tomislav and Richard Ruffin and Sam Angelo. What they do is that some guy, one of the four turners, I don't remember the name of the fourth turner, picks up a specific project, sends it out to the other group, and they all together work on their own interpretation of the project at hand. And on the very first day of the month, at exactly the same time, they go ahead and they publish a video of their solution to said problem. But we're not going to do anything really on YouTube, but what we do is when we meet, we've started this initiative where we have put ourselves to a bit of a not a problem, but a project to and showcase how we've done things. So this month, what they've asked us to do is to do a wine goblet or a cup or anything like that. And what I decided to do is to try to reproduce this wine goblet that I have. It's made of pewter. It's something that my parents bought for me in France. So I took measurements amongst other things in millimeters because I figured that's what it would amount to. But my goal is to reproduce this as best as possible, and I'm going to use a block of wood similar to this guy. This is birch, and cut it out and see how far I can go. I've always wanted to do this, but now I've got incentive to actually go ahead and get it done. So stick around, please, as I try to tackle this particular problem. Hopefully, I have a little bit of fun with it too. All right, so off camera, I rounded off my blank, put a tenon on it, and I put it in my chuck. And the first thing I'm going to do now is drill a 3/8 inch hole to the depth that I want. And I'll get it started with that. And I might actually drill with a Forstner bit after. We'll see. But for now, let's start with the 3/8 bitch. So I'm going to slow down my speed here. Let's see how much we're going to get. We're at almost 800 RPM, which is more than enough. I can go as deep as the drill bit here. All right, so I got a 35 millimeter bit, and let's see how this goes. Again, running at about, I'm going to slow it down a little bit more. Go to about 600 or 500. Yeah. Just around 540 right now. All right, let's go. I have my calipers set at pretty much 80 millimeters. I'm a thousandth off or 100th off. Big deal. And that's the size of the lip on the top. So I'm barely just a little bit off. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to establish the lip. Just take a little bit off. Start from there. I'm about 1200 RPM. You just need to take a little bit off. I took a little bit too much, but it's going to be all right. Okay, no big deal. So the next measurement point is 0.7 millimeters away. Let's move it a little bit. Okay, that's good enough. And now we'll mark that point off. Okay, and the next measurement I want to take is it's 87 millimeters. And that is the bottom of the cup. All right, so from here to here, put the pencil upside down or right side up. All right, so what we have here is almost a straight line going down. But I'm going to take a couple of measurements and we'll make a couple of cuts, depth cuts. Whoops, that moved. So this is 63 millimeters at the bottom. So once again, I'll lock in my calipers. Take a parting tool. And that's, there you go. Take a parting tool and let's go dig. So I transferred the measurements to my calipers, and it's a lot safer and a lot easier to use that than the measurement calipers. All right, let's cut this. Got a little bit left to do. And there we go. We got the right thing. Now the depth cut over here is actually 73 millimeters, so which is 1 centimeter more than this guy here. So there's a bit of a taper, and that's what I'm trying to establish is the proper depth. So I've readjusted my calipers to 73 millimeters, and it's time to make a depth cut. See? And I'm bang on. All right, so before I start using my gouge here to fit the profile, let me walk you through what the next steps are. So here's the goblet, right? And I've put it in the same orientation that it's going to look like in the end. This is the top of the goblet. This is the first transition point, which is this, just below. I don't know if you see these two lines, but these are two decorative lines. There's a quick transition to this point, and then there's a very slow taper to another depth, which is what I did here. So what I'm going to do with my gouge here is actually cut the lip of the rim and then build that slow taper down to that level. All right, here we go. All right, and we are going at about 1300 RPM. So again, I want to bring your attention to the two lines that are here. These are decorative lines, so that's the next thing. I'm going to use my skew and just put very tiny V grooves in that transition, or in the mug. Here we go. And that looks absolutely lovely. All right, so off camera, I sanded the exterior of the goblet with 240 and 400 grit Abranet sandpaper. It's nice and smooth. It's really looking really, really good. And now it's time to start focusing on the inside of the goblet. And I have this 3/4 inch 19 millimeter scraper, and that's what I intend to use for the most part to core out this thing. So let's give it a shot. Let's see. But what my biggest concern, this is end grain, so I'm hoping that this is going to react nicely with me. So let's go ahead and core this out. All right, I'll increase the speed. We're currently about 1500 RPM. All right, we're about ready to go on to the next phase. So I have finished coring the inside of the cup, and I've sanded it down to 400 grit. I hope you can see something. Maybe move it sideways. So it's looking really nice. And the walls, this is one thing that I have struggled mightily, but the walls are actually really thin, and that's something that I've rarely been able to do with my bowls. So I'm actually pretty darn happy about this. Okay, I'm going to reset because now we're going to focus on the foot and hopefully not have any big disasters or surprises. We're getting close to the end here. All right, moving ahead. So again, this is the original mug, and this is the reproduction in wood. The next step is going to be to build the foot, and I'm going to start by the thinnest part here. Now, when I did a test to see how deep I'm going, this is pretty much the bottom of the cup right now. So I've got a little bit of wiggle room. This is going to give me some strength while I do something that's actually a little bit thin. This is 45 millimeters in diameter, and I've set my trusty calipers to 45 millimeters, that is. And so the next thing is I'm going to cut that groove, and then we'll shape the bottom. This is looking really nice. By the way, I put in a first coat of wax on this section here just to see what it would look like, and it looks really nice. Okay, let's get going. All right, so I'm roughly at 1300 RPM. There we go. In fact, the base is quite different, but I have to say it's looking pretty good. Okay, next step is to do this little ridge here. Let me take my measurements, get my caliper set up, and then we'll turn that one. All right, so I've added a line. This is the bottom of the entire cup. And this needs to be at 70 millimeters in diameter. So I'm going to, again, take my parted tool, make a cut. And then after that, with my skew, I'm going to do just an angled cut, a peeling cut towards the next line. That's really close. Just taking smidgen off, and then we'll. All right. Let's go down here. Long point down. I think that looks quite nice. Seems like as I get closer to the end of this project, the level of stress gets higher and higher. So I've got my cup now put into a jam chuck. The base of the cup is actually right here where my fingernail is. So everything here needs to go away. I'm going to use, to begin with, a spindle gouge and just try to remove as much material, and then I'll clean it up as I go along. Wish me luck. I don't want to break this right now.
One thing that I'm afraid of.
And this is where my microphone failed me. So the battery on it died, so I'm going to just give you final comments here. So what you'll see me do is just use a couple of pull cuts to remove some of the content, and then use some push cuts as well. And then finally what I'm left is just with this little knob, and I'm going to remove most of that knob with my spindle gouge. And when it's going to be small enough, I'm just going to be desperately looking for the off button to stop the turning, as I'm desperately looking not to break this. Guys, if you've watched this far, I really appreciate it. Please subscribe if you haven't done so. Click that like button. You know what to do. And just have to say, like, this is the first time I've turned a cup or a vessel like this, and this was a reproduction of an existing wine mug. The results, I'm really, really happy with them. Thanks for watching.